Welcome back to the Vantage Point YouTube channel, where today we're not going to talk about Vantage Point. Instead, I'm going to do an album review, and my first album review is going to be of the latest Iron Maiden one, Senjutsu. Okay, so here we have the latest Iron Maiden album, although it is, I think, 5 months old now. I got the deluxe CD version. I would have liked the version with the Blu-ray, because I quite like watching the documentaries, but I think this was like £20, and to get the Blu-ray you had to buy the box set, which was I think between 70 and 90, and frankly I didn't think a Blu-ray was possibly worth that extra money. Plus, there was nothing really telling you what's on the Blu-ray. I know there was a documentary, but I got the Matter of Life and Death one when it came out, and it was just a standard CD with an extra DVD, so it was about the same price, and you got the documentary, which was fine. I mean, it only lasted, I don't know, 20 minutes top, so I wasn't risking buying a box set to get a documentary that might only last 20-30 minutes and it costing 50-60 quid, plus the rest of the box was just full of bits of tat, postcards and badges and stickers or what, I can't remember what was on it, so it didn't seem worth it. So I went for this version, which, to be honest, it's a bit of a mistake as well, because it's a nice little box and a booklet, but there's nothing in it, it's just got the lyrics. And that's about it. You think with something this size there should be some text, something to get your teeth into. I mean, I should have realised, because I obviously got the exact same with the Book of Souls, and they look quite nice together, but really I'd have probably been better off getting the standard CD, so I'll maybe remember that next time, if hopefully there is another Iron Maiden album after this one. But anyway, of course, it is the music that's important, so I pretty like the album. It's not, I don't think it's the best, and I don't think it's the worst. It starts off obviously with the title track Senjutsu, which is a bit of a drum showcase. It's not quite up there with Where Eagles Dare in what you'd call an impressive, blow your mind away opening. But there's still pretty cool drums setting the beat. And for this song, I really love the middle with Nico. He's doing lots of tom work as the guitars are coming in and out with short little runs, and Bruce wailing early in the background. I think it's a real highlight. And then I also love the guitar riff that comes in at about 7 minutes as a prelude to the outro solos. Just that whole section's great, just from that riff into the solos. I mean, the only thing I'm pretty not keen on the song and some other parts of the album is the keyboards in the background. They don't distract too much because they are in the background, but some of the sounds are just a bit not very good, and they can kind of grate a bit. So yeah, it's a pretty good start to the album, and it continues pretty strongly with the next track, Strategical, which it's one of the songs that has a video for it, and it and the Writing on the Wall videos are very impressive and well done. But then I suppose you can't really do anything. They've not been able to do anything else because of COVID and not being able to get together so easily. But to be honest, I prefer the videos where you actually see the band playing. I'd rather see a Holy Smoke type video where they're goofing around than some pretty impressive production piece which the band aren't part of. But so Strategical is the second shortest song in the album, and it contains a nice gallop. I'm not overly keen on the keys on this one again. They're probably slightly worse than in Senjutsu, but it's a decent song, and my favourite bit is the riffs just after the solo going back into the vocals. So it's It's a pretty strong start to the album, those two songs, and then you get the writing on the wall, which is, it's got a nice short acoustic part. Some recent Maiden albums have just overly long acoustic parts at the beginnings and ends of songs, which don't really seem to have anything to do with the song. They just seem to be stuck on there to make them a bit longer. I'm sure they don't feel that, but sometimes you feel you're just listening to the acoustic part, just waiting for the song to start, as opposed to enjoying the acoustic part. But I don't think that's the case with the writing on the wall. And it's yeah, so the acoustic part, I don't think outstays its welcome, and it's just a nice segue into the song, which is a pretty good, I think it's first nice sing-along chorus, and you can see, I think this one will go down well live. I mean, speaking of the video, I went to see the Bruce spoken word show recently, and then the interval he puts this video up on the big screen through the PA. It was certainly more impressive that way than watching it on YouTube. But it's a good song. There's a nice long instrumental passage in it, some great solos on it, and it's just got a good beat to it that you can nod your head throughout. If you're not wanting to go down the mosh pit anymore, you can just sit at the back of the concert and nod away and enjoy it. Next up is Lost in a Lost World, which really has a pretty different feel for a Maiden track. It starts with a strummy guitar and Bruce singing, and the effects kind of give the vocals a really ethereal, spacey vibe, which is not really something you'd associate them. But and there's a nice snap of the snare drum as we go into the song proper, and some nice guitar riffs. But there's again effects on the vocals that go over these guitar riffs, and I don't know if they just, to me, they just don't sound that great, and it just kind of, I suppose they're trying to give a complete lost vibe and stuff, but it's kind of just seems to kind of float away and be a bit uninteresting. But there's still some nice stuff in it, but it's not a song I'd particularly go back to very much, which is the same with the next one, Days of Future Past, which is the shortest song on the album, which is it rocks along fairly nicely, but again it just seems a bit average. It doesn't have any excitement or anything to hook you in. It's no Wasted Years or Aces High or any of their Can I Play with Madness, any of their great hits of the past. It's just a bit forgettable. But the next song on the album, the Time Machine, is definitely my favourite. With the album, I put the whole thing on my MP3 player, which I just play songs on that alphabetically, so that everything I hear is all mixed in with other artists. And usually when a song from Senjutsu comes up, I enjoy it and I think it's great and stuff. But the Time Machine's the only one, I think, when I've heard it, I've gone, yeah, I need to hear that again. So before going on to the next track on my MP3 player, I go, skip back, play it again. And in saying that, I do think it could have done with a slight edit. Which we maybe got the track an extra mark. It just, again, the intro, is it needed? But once the song gets going, it's fantastic. And the time change into the kind of not full on gallop, just the restrained gallop is just sublime. I can just listen to that over and over. And then we go into the next track up is Darkest Hour, which is got the most atmospheric type intro, which seems a bit more worthwhile than some of the other ones. It seems really part of the song and worth having. Again, it's probably quite a bit different, and I feel Bruce is the real star of this song. He's the real focus, whereas when he's singing, there's a real flow all the way through. You don't get a sense of he's sung one line, and then he sings another line, and then he sings another line of the verse, or whatever. It all just flows into one. And so that's a real highlight. And then we get on to I think the last three songs, which are all the long ones. And Death of the Celts really brings out the Virtual Eleven vibe, which for me is no bad thing, because Virtual Eleven is one of my favourite Maiden albums. And you could be leveled saying this is the Klansman Part 2, but I think it's doing it a disservice, because I think it's far superior to the Klansman. Although I like Virtual Eleven, I think Klansman's one of the weaker songs on it. It's just so stop-starty. You know, just when you think it's going, they stop and do another build-up, and they stop and do it. Yeah, whereas Death of the Celts just flows so much better to me. And I mean, it all does sound with the Celtic flavours and stuff a bit like the Klansman bass. The bass at the end really does on the outro. But yes, that's Death of the Celts is probably my second favourite on the album. And then so next up is the Parchment, which is the longest song on the album. And again, it has a bit of a meandering intro. But and then when the band kicks in, some of the keyboard parts in the background are bordering on being irritating. I don't think it's what they're playing is irritating. I think it's just the sound. But then when Bruce comes in, the focus is so much on him, you can kind of forget them. So it's a song I probably need to listen a bit more to really get it. But it's not done a lot for me yet. And then we finished the album on Hell on Earth. Not quite the longest song, but yes, another long one. And I think I really could do without the first 2 minutes on this. When the wee drum roll comes in and the full band kicks in, it's fantastic from there on in. But with the intro, I just feel I'm waiting on that to happen. I'm not actually listening to and enjoying that, but I'm just thinking there's a good song coming on. So it's just it seems a complete waste of 2 minutes. But other than that, it's a pretty flawless track and another real highlight. So that was it. For what it was worth, my little review on Senjutsu. I've given each song a mark out of 10, which then divided by the 10 songs gives me a mark for the album, and I can enter it into my Hall of Fame of albums I've reviewed. And as this is my first album review, it's gone in at number 1. So if you want to subscribe to the channel as well as hearing about Vantage Point, you can see when I've done some more album reviews how Senjutsu fares in my little chart of albums. And if obviously I would assume if you're watching this you are an Iron Maiden fan, probably because you've never heard of us won't know, but we did a song last year with a guest vocal from Blaze Bayley called 24 Hours of Freedom, which you can stream on the digital platform of your choice, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Deezer, Tidal, etc. I also did a stop motion Lego video for it, so you can you'll find that on this page, but you can watch it now.